Latto, formerly known as Mulatto. And Mulatto was actually, her got her name to fame by going on the rap game, which is or was hosted by Jermaine Dupri, sorry. But I watched it when Mulatta was there, and I always liked Mulatta. Mulatta always had her bars down par. She really was serious about her work even then. But anyways, so she came out, right, and she basically, spoke about the hardships of female rappers in the industry. And we all know, we all hear, like even like what she said, we all hear how difficult it is for female rappers, but nobody ever goes forth to actually explain specifically in what ways women have that hardship. And I think she did a great job in speaking up and speaking out. She basically spoke about the whole, the basically the favors. That was one thing that she focused on. And she accounted, her time in the industry, where it's like people, including managers, would ask for sexual favors, in order to tie up a deal. And she said, the reason why I'm speaking about this is because of the fact that at the end of the day, I wish somebody would have told me. And oftentimes we see that in society, where it's like, listen, you go through something crazy and you be like, I wish somebody would have just said something. Like, at least if they just said something, I would have had like a heads up. I may not have changed my decision, but at least I wasn't going in blind. So I feel like we as women, if you have insight, if you have credible information, if you have experiences, like, just tap on the shoulder of somebody else and say, baby girl, don't do that. Like, this is why. We shouldn't always have to experience things firsthand, y'all. Like, that don't make no sense. If one of us learns something, the other one should automatically learn it too. Let me get into it. She was basically saying that there was a rapper that, she didn't check for his DMs on Instagram or whatever, and he took that to heart, and so it created problem with her sealing the deal on being a feature in his song. So a lot of people suspected, based upon the way she was wording it and what she was saying, that it was Kodak Black. Kodak Black responded, and he said, listen, that Latto chick, she ain't talking about me. And she went on the Breakfast Club to speak about it because they asked her about it. And no, it's kind of like a regret for her. Like, where she said she probably, really and truly just should have kept it to herself and kept it moving, because now it's taken away from, the thing that she cares about the most, which is her music. And the people who sometimes you would want to support you 1,000% are not always the people who end up supporting you that way. But at the end of the day, you still say something, you still talk up, because it's better to have a voice that nobody likes than to be silent where you don't even like your own. That makes sense? Okay, moving on. Now, Doja Cat was supposed to perform, right, in Paraguay's Asuncion, Asuncionico, okay, festival. So she was supposed to perform, but she ended up not performing because of the fact that there was like a storm that had flooding, and so the show was canceled. But seemingly Doja did not say anything to acknowledge to her fans that yes, she's sad, she's sorry, yada 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 yada, about it being canceled. And so they felt some type of way. They were like, like, seriously? Like, I fell in love with you because you are so humble. You had your humble origins. You started on TikTok, whatever the case may be, right? I don't really follow Doja Cat like that, so whatever. But anyways, they felt some type of way because they had basically invested so much in her as an artist, so much in her as a person. They really felt close to her. So when she was not able to make it, they were just kind of like, so we not gonna talk about this, sis? Like, we not gonna have some sort of apology? So anyway, she was like, no, and no. And then she said, I'm quitting music. I'm done with this. Like, she was just like, I'm over it. This ain't for me. This, that, and the third. And people really took offense to that. People were like, how could you say stuff like that? How could you not say anything, this, that, and the third? She also has some more performances to do, but they don't know if she will show up for that. But, like, my whole thing is, at the end of the day, one thing stands out to me. She did not cancel the show because she just didn't want to turn up. So I'm pretty sure if she flew all the way out there, she wasn't going to do it just for the sake of doing it. She had intention, she had purpose, a purpose to coming out there, which was to perform for y'all. She can't control the weather, so why are y'all so pissed? Come back down to reality. First and foremost, these people don't know you like that, honey. Okay? They just don't. Second of all, like, what you expect for her to do? She's gonna be there performing while some of y'all drowning. Like, I know that's way out of that's a that's a reach. But you guys get what I'm saying, okay? You guys get what I'm saying. Anyways, moving on. Love and Hip Hop star Apple Watts. Now, you guys may not remember Apple Watts, as well as you may have, and put her picture up and whatever. But Apple Watts, like, she had a really tough childhood. She went through the foster care system. She had a lot. She went through a lot. She also at the time of the show was also stripping. She was trying to find a way in which to leave that environment and leave that behind and pursue her passion of rapping. And so we saw her trying to do that. Now, I haven't watched Love and Hip Hop in a very long time, so I don't know what came of her, if she was still on the show presently, or if she left shortly after, maybe like 2 seasons afterwards. I don't know. But what I do know is that Apple is like that fireball. Apple is a fireball of energy. She's a fireball of personality. She's quick to pop, you know what I'm saying? But some people are like that, and especially when you're Love and Hip Hop, I think, kind of takes that out of you. But she has 3 children, and it's just so sad that, to hear that she was involved in a major car accident where, she was actually she was driving her black Mercedes northbound on I-15 between Los Angeles and Las Vegas when the accident happened, and literally she her car flipped over multiple times and caught fire. So we don't know exactly what's happened to her. We know that emergency services carried her to the hospital. We know that she's injured badly. As to what extent, we can't really say, but as that comes about and there are any developments, then I'll share that with you. But guys, put out your prayers for her. Now, Hayden Patteniere, okay? Panettiere. It sounds like what's that place called? What is it called? Panera Bread. Anytime I try to say like pan something, whatever, I just come with like Panera. Okay, that's anyways. Hayden, all right, and Hayden from Remember the Titans. She was that little girl, right? The little girl that Denzel Washington just thought was over the top, precocious, like needed some home training and this, that, and the third. But she was in it. She loved football, American football. And she just was in it, honey. She knew all the plays. She was actually trying to get like him to listen to her when he was coaching, because she's like, oh my gosh, what's going on? That's a bad play. And when the guys would mess up, they'd be like, oh my gosh, how could you do that? Did you not see the ball? She's really fun to watch in a movie. And Remember the Titans will always be one of my favorite movies. If you have not seen it, go check it out. Denzel Washington stars in that. And there's a lot of people who I've spoken to that and be like, oh my gosh, yes, that was a dope movie. It really was. Like, go look at it. But anyways, Hayden Panettiere and her boyfriend Brian Hickerson, they became involved in a brawl, y'all. And the brawl started inside a hotel bar area and then escalated to going outdoors. So essentially what the kind of like the speculation is that her boyfriend actually spat on one of the alums for the TV series Heroes. Another good show. But anyways, they were in the vicinity. No one knows exactly what was said that had Hickerson or Brian like spit on the other person allegedly. So we don't know that, but we do know that something popped off. And what popped off is that he lost his head. The other person, They lost their cool, and so it escalated, and it happened inside the restaurant. And they were told to leave, and upon leaving and stuff like that, like he wouldn't, they just wouldn't listen. It didn't cool or calm things down. Like the temperature was still really hot, boiling. And so when they went outside, they acted a fool. And the video is here.
Wait a minute, dude. Call the fucking press, bro.
So then it's like that dude, like.
I know, I'm sorry. I tried. We all tried.
White boy's gonna get arrested. Let's go. Tony's that guy, the cops trying to pick the other guy up. I don't know.
When I tell you, I cannot, like, I just don't understand, like, in this day and age, at this time of our lives, right? That was kind of close to days of our lives, but you know what I'm saying, okay? Like, at this time of our lives, there is so much that is going on. Why do you think that it is important for you to seek justice by whipping and whooping somebody's behind? I just don't understand it, y'all. Please break it down. So anyways, no, this is the thing, right? Hayden was there and she was like, no, Brian, no, jail, Brian, jail. This sort of thing. You can hear it on the video. So in my mind, when I first heard it, I was like, Brian, jail, what's going on? But y'all, he is on probation. And he's on probation for, I think it's 4 years. Let me just double check for y'all. 4 years of probation. I was right. Okay. And he pled no contest to the 2 felony charges that were against it for domestic violence. Against who? Hayden. Yes, you heard it right. Not only that, it goes deeper. Guess what? He has a restraining order, okay, against him, barring him from having any contact with Hayden for 5 years. Y'all. Obviously, Neither one of them learned their lesson because there they were chilling at the bar, hanging out like a couple. Okay? So neither one of them learned their lesson. They are hot mess. And you see, when I see stuff like this, I could be so empathetic to you. Like in the beginning stages, this person done lost their mind. You didn't know, honey. I will feel for you. My heart would break for you. This and the third. But when you go ahead and you so easily get wrapped up in a situation like this, like there's a restraining order trying to protect you from him, honey, and there you are wrapped up with him at a bar. It's like, so the criminal justice system was used for what purpose now? For what? And it's like things like this that kind of annoy me, because it's like you have women out there who they would love to be able to get the type of protection that the criminal justice system gave, Hayden, where it's like they slapped him real hard with 2 felonies. They gave him 4 years of probation, 5 years, okay, worth of a restraining order. You have some women who are fighting for their lives right now. Fighting for their lives right now in ICUs, okay, because of domestic violence. And the judges and the police officers' reluctancy to do their jobs and protect these women. And now you have Miss Hayden out here, okay? And she is just doing yeah, this happened with the criminal justice system. Yes, I had a case against you, but it's okay, boo boo. We right here. We back together. We let's bump it up. 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 That's kind of what I think. And then she out here rolling on the ground too. Baby, you have got a brand to protect. Leave this dude alone, because this is not benefiting you in any way. Leave him alone. Hayden, if none of your family and friends have told you, baby girl, leave his behind alone. Okay? Leave him alone. Thank you for tuning in today for this show. But let me just tell y'all, okay, there has been so much going on, but I'm here specifically to talk about Will and Jada at the Oscars of 2022. Like, if y'all don't know, there has so much that has happened, and I am going to break it down for you. But first off, let's go ahead and check out this video, okay?
You know who's got the hardest job tonight? Javier Bardem and his wife are both nominated. Now, if she loses, he can't win. He is praying that Will Smith wins. Like, please, Lord. Jada, I love you. G.I. Jane 2, can't wait to see it. All right? That was a nice one. Okay. I'm out here. Richard. Oh, wow. Wow. Will Smith just smacked the shit out of me.
Out your fucking mouth.
Wow, dude.
Yeah.
It was a G.I. Jane jump.
Keep my wife's name out your fucking mouth.
I'm going to, okay? Okay. That was a greatest night in the history of television.
Okay, you can see it for yourself. Now, let me tell you something, right? I have different points of view on the same situation, right? So first and foremost, I don't condone violence, like, unless it is necessary to defend oneself, okay? That's point number 1. Number 2, okay? It was in poor taste for Chris Rock to say what he said about Jada, given the fact that Jada has alopecia, okay? And she has spoken about this publicly, and she has expressed how difficult it is of a journey to deal with, as well as how embarrassing it is, and this and the third. So this has caused a lot of pain and a lot of self-loathing and whatnot for her, and as well as a lot of other women who deal with alopecia along with other scalp issues, right, and hair loss issues. It is not easy. So for Chris Rock to say something like that is totally inexcusable as well, because as much as I would love to say, like a lot of other people say, oh, comedians, they should be able to say whatever they want to say, it's a joke, this, that, and the third. Like, there are poor taste jokes and they're like grade A jokes, and we all know the difference. Like, they have been in the media, okay? Like, this leads me to another thing. They have been in the media for a very long time, over the course of, I think it's been like maybe like 6 years, due to, you know, one of, I guess, Jada's decisions in choosing to find herself in an entanglement, okay, with one of her son's friends, who became a close friend of the family. And my whole thing is, you know, this basically was the start of it. You know, rumors have been floated in Hollywood about the fact that, you know, they had an open marriage, but everybody just kind of looked at them as like, oh, you know, they freaks. Maybe they have an open marriage, you know? Like, they really felt like it was something of the sort. But I don't think anybody actually thought that concretely, unless, you know, you are a person who they had dealt with in the past. But I don't think anybody, any fan or any member of the public actually thought that they were actually in an open marriage. So when it was revealed that, yes, Jada had someone that she was dealing with that was definitely not Will, it's like the floodgates of hell kind of opened up. And then we saw them trying to hold on to a little bit of dignity. And they spoke about this on her show, which is the Red Table Talk. And on her show, she basically, you know, said that she had an entanglement. And the entanglement, you could tell, was very embarrassing to Will. And Will was very upset. Like, cue one of the stills from that whole situation there. And the thing about it is that Will, I think his ego was crushed, because he's like, I kept all my hoes, I kept all my women that I was dealing with, okay, silent. You should have done the same. But no, here it is. You've got homeboy in an unrealistic situation, thinking that it was going to become a you and him situation, and we were going to get divorced. And like, this is what led to the whole situation. You should have just kept him at, you know, arm's length, right, and still had fun. But no, you got to get all wrapped up. You got to invest in him emotionally. You got to do this, do that, whatever the case is. And now here we go. Look what happened. So I think Will was like that, but everybody kind of looked at Jada as the you know, the transgressor in that situation. Nobody was really looking at Will for the most part. He was like that husband that everybody was like feeling for, that was empathizing with, that was sympathetic towards, that was this and third, forgetting that Will had his transgressions previously, because they were in an open relationship. So they were both doing the same thing. And it was also said that Will at one point in time was cheating on Jada many years ago, and as a result of that, maybe that is what led to the open relationship. But Jada didn't blast Will during that whole segment. She took it like a champ. She apologized, you know, and she was very humble, and you could tell like she was very hurt. And when Will was talking to her, Will wasn't saying to the world, well, you know what, this is what this lifestyle, you know, sometimes comes with. Like, he was not saying that. He basically left Jada out there to dry. And then we saw that a lot of things started coming up in regards to Will or whatever, but the memes started flooding when people first found out, and was like, oh, Jada out here being this, and she being loose, and she being doing that, and da whatever. And, you know, look at Will allow for Jada to be actually out here creeping in the streets and whatever the case is, and Will ain't handling business at home, and he ain't throwing it down the way he should. And look at Jada, she had to go outside of the marriage, and I bet you that, you know, it's because of this, that, and the third, and how she gonna embarrass him. Like, he had his peers saying, you know, stuff on Twitter and Instagram or whatever, say like, how she gonna embarrass you like that, whatever the case. So it's like a lot of people basically like mocked Will and Jada's relationship. So I think, you know, and in 2016, Chris Rock, he had actually thrown some jokes their way as well at the Oscars that he hosted. So I think to a certain extent, it was like a build-up over a period of time. And then on this night, he said something about Jaden. And I think if he had said something about Will in just like maybe the movie or something of the sort, like I didn't take a personal dig, I think that it would have just blown over, and Will probably would have pulled him to the side and been like, yo, seriously, bro, like this is what you decided to do. But he did not do that. He went after Jada. And I think Will kind of had like this moment of trying to understand what it was that he needed to do. Should he have, not said anything? And then it could be a problem where Jada's like, how come you didn't defend me? Or it was a situation where, should he have done something? Because if he didn't do something, maybe he would have come off like as a simp or like a punk or something of this sort. Like, oh, he ain't all that manly. See, this is why Jada left him and looked somewhere else. This is the reason why Jada was in the streets creeping. I think he kind of thought to himself, like, it's a do or don't situation, but there's really no win-win. Because if I don't do something, like, I look like a punk. Like, oh, I'm not defending my wife, and how can I not defend my wife or whatever, and people will joke about that for the following days and weeks and possibly months or years to come. So I think he was looking from that standpoint as well, and then he was probably also looking from the standpoint of the fact that it's like, okay, so I gotta show up. I gotta let Chris know that's not okay, and I'm just tired of it. So I think he could have chosen the best route of all, which I think would have been to, if he was gonna approach him on the spot when he went up there to take the mic and said, you know what, bro, usually I would be okay with you, making fun of me or whatever the case is. And I think I could say this for my wife as well, which is like, we've got thick skin, but I think there's certain things you do and certain things you don't do when things are very sensitive to someone, or when they're very humiliating or embarrassing. That's not really the time for you to make a joke. That's the time for you to think about something else and get creative, or just target someone else. But my wife has been struggling, that she's spoken about publicly, so I know she'll be okay with me talking about it here, but she's been struggling with alopecia. And if you were aware of this and you did that, that's shame on you. But if you weren't aware, I just want to educate you. This is something that a lot of women go through, and it's a very, very debilitating, demoralizing situation, because of the fact that there's a lot of self-loathing, there's a lot of shame involved, a lot of embarrassment, and a lot of misunderstandings. Like, you could see a woman who is going bald, and the first thing you think is like, or she is bald, the first thing you think is maybe she's undergoing cancer treatment. The second thing is, well, maybe she's gay. The next thing you think is this, that, and the third. Like, if he had said something to that degree and then said, like, I really wish that you would have done your research if you did not know. Like, but I think it's just poor taste for you to have said this. And I have to say something, because I'm the one who goes home and wipes her tears and hears her crying or whatever the case is, or her trying to find a way to embrace herself and what the struggle is like. I am the one that's aware of that. And so I do want to take this opportunity to educate anybody out there, regardless of the circumstances, right? As a comedian, we need y'all. We need for you to bring laughter to, when things are down and things are bad, and especially at a time like this where, we're going through what we're going through worldwide. Like, I understand you guys are needed more than ever, but you should be able to alleviate us of our pain, not actually reinforce it. I think had he done that, like, it would have been amazing. He would have gotten a standing ovation. People would have remembered this for years to come. People would have been like, oh my gosh, I think that this is what should happen. This, and the third. But instead, he decided to go ahead, get up on stage, and slap the hell out of Chris Rock. Okay? And I think that's just what happens. A lot of people are saying, oh, comedians should be able to say whatever they want to say. There's freedom of speech. There is freedom of speech, but just because you say something and you expect for someone to respond A, B, and C doesn't mean they're actually going to respond that way. You feel me? It doesn't mean that at all. They can respond however they choose to respond, or automatically respond, okay, or are pressured to respond in that given situation, and you don't have control over that. So for you to think that, every time you say something, people are just going to be really receptive, or yeah, you're going to have somebody that's upset, but they'll just walk away or whatever the case is, that's you being unrealistic. Like, so you've got to think about that. Yes, you have freedom of speech, but you need to do so responsibly, okay? Now, Chris Rock didn't retaliate in that situation, so some people are, commending him for doing that, and I commend him for doing that as well, because he de-escalated the situation. He had a job to do. He continued to do his job. He tried to brush it over, whatever the case is. And also, I want to point out that most people thought was planned. A lot of people thought that it was planned, and it really was not planned. Okay, that was really spontaneous, really raw. It was not planned, not one bit. Okay, y'all. So just take that into consideration. That was all raw, masculine energy, testosterone pumping, people being fed up, impatient, da 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 da. Okay, now the night moves on, right? And we see that he has an acceptance speech for his Oscar because he did win. And this is his first Oscar. And let me tell you, he did, like his speech was full of tears. Dude was crying. Cue here, right here. Watch this video.
Richard Williams was a fierce defender of his family. In this time in my life, in this moment, I am overwhelmed by what God is calling on me to do and be in this world. Making this film, I got to protect Ingenue Ellis, who was one of the strongest, most delicate people I've ever met. I got to protect Sanaya and Demi, the two actresses that played Venus and Serena. I'm being called on in my life to love people and to protect people and to be a river to my people. And I know to do what we do, you got to be able to take abuse. You got to be able to have people talk crazy about you. In this business, you got to be able to have people disrespecting you. And you got to smile and you got to pretend like that's okay. But Richard Williams, and what I loved, thank you, D. Denzel said to me a few minutes ago, he said, at your highest moment, be careful, that's when the devil comes for you. I want to be a vessel for love. I want to say thank you to Venus and Serena. I just spit, I hope they didn't see that on TV. I want to say thank you to Venus and Serena and the entire Williams family for entrusting me with your story. That's what I want to do. I want to be an ambassador of that kind of love and care and concern. I want to apologize to the Academy. I want to apologize to all my fellow nominees. This is a beautiful moment, and I'm not crying for winning an award. It's not about winning an award for me. It's about being able to shine light on all of the people, Tim and Trevor and Zach and Sanaya and Demi and Ingenue and the entire cast and crew of King Richard and Venus and Serena, the entire Williams family. Art imitates life. I look like the crazy father, just like they said. I look like crazy father, just like they said about Richard Williams. But love will make you do crazy things. To my mother, a lot of this moment is really complicated for me, but to my mother, she didn't want to come out. She's had her knitting friend. She has a knitting crew that she's in Philly watching with. Being able to love and care for my mother and my family, my wife. I'm taking up too much time. Thank you for this honor. Thank you for this moment. And thank you on behalf of Richard and Orsine, the entire Williams family. Thank you. Hope the Academy invites me back. Thank you.
And in my mind, I'm just like, yes, I understand what it was. It was a lot of stuff. And he, he apologized to everybody but Chris. And I think that he made that decision because it's like, again, he probably wouldn't have been taken seriously. Like, he ain't got no backbone. So he did not make an apology to Chris Rock. Now, also, before I move on to the day after, I just want to point out that I am so upset with the cameraman. The cameraman did not catch, Jada, like when Will was getting up to go on the stage. They didn't catch her. At least I have not seen a video of her and her reaction to Will getting up. And when he came back down, post-assaulting Chris Rock, okay? Like, we still don't know how Jada responded. All they kept showing was when Will was talking to Chris Rock, right? When he came back down and he was saying, don't talk about my wife, blah, right? We saw Lupita Nyong'o in that shot. The continuous shot, that's where we saw her at. But they could have captured, right? They could have captured both of them in the shot. Like, I wanted to see how Jada responded. You understand what I'm saying? I wanted to see if she had like this look of disbelief. I wanted to see if she looked stunned. I wanted to see if she was happy, if she looked proud, if she was angry. I really wanted to see all of that, and I didn't get to see any of that. And so that is quite annoying to me. That is quite like really and truly disappointing. So I just wanted to put that out there. Okay, so fast forward now. Okay, so the Academy puts this out. Will Smith, he puts this out. That it's a lot. It's just a lot, okay? Because this is so unlike Will. Like, when this whole situation happened between him and Jada and their open relationship, open marriage or whatever, they really tried like hard to work on their image. Like, when I say hard, I mean they really tried hard to work on their image. It was like PR repair. Like, so Jada went ahead and she started talking about issues on Red Table Talk that were like, more sensitive, that were like highly salacious or whatever with other celebrities and whatnot, and that kind of gave spread the attention off of her and more towards her show and whatnot. But then also Will Smith, he started doing this whole self-love journey and this and the third and finding oneself and getting right mentally and motivational speaks and talks, honey, and fitness and health and all this extra stuff. So people started to fall in love with him, and he would, he started doing like comic relief and stuff like that. So people started to fall in love with Will all over again, and kind of that whole stigma of him being like this man who's just being taken advantage of by his wife kind of to fall to the wayside. But then moving forward, it's like boom. Now, all right, so I say that to say, okay, like I am so like disappointed in all of this. But this is some of the celebrities, their peers, and this is what they had to say. So here we have Tiffany Haddish.
What did you think about it whenever it was happening?
When it was happening, I was like,
Like jaw on the floor?
first of all, do you know like that joke that Chris did? I remember when that movie came out, and that was a way to insult a woman, her sexuality, her physique. It was a way to call a woman a homosexual, basically. And she's sitting right next to her. It was like that. I remember that in school, that they would do that to people, It's kind of messed up.
And what do you think of, when Will came on stage and he kind of offered a mea culpa to the Academy?
Sometimes discipline needs to be administered.
Think they can make
repercussions for your actions,
You think they can make up?
I think it'll be fine.
Here we had Jim Carrey. And then we have The View.
I was thinking comedians are in danger everywhere.
Yeah.
That, you know, they want us to be edgy. They want us to go out there and say things that other people are just thinking. They want us to take a risk, and then they get mad. But to actually hit somebody was like shocking. Frankly, it was shocking.
Well, hitting somebody is a crime, right? It is the crime of assault on national TV. Look, at first I thought it was a joke. I think a lot of us thought this has got to be a comedy bit because this cannot possibly be happening on the live telecast of the Oscars, that these two men, at the top of their game, with Will Smith about to get an Oscar for the first time in his life, that this is happening. It just can't be happening. That being said, nothing, nada, cero, condones violence in this form.
I was embarrassed for Will. I was horrified for Chris Rock. I mean, Will apologized to the Academy and he apologized to his colleagues and the other nominees, but he didn't apologize to Chris Rock.
No.
And I thought Chris was the one that deserved an apology for taking. I think that Will was immature. I think he was childish, and I think he was violent.
A lot of people are saying that the Oscars, just putting that out, that apology out or whatever, is not enough. Like, they should also go ahead and retract his award. And I'm like, not here for it. Because if you're going to judge a person's work by, just by the person's work, you're not judging them based off of anything else. You're judging them based off their work, okay, that they're nominated for. Like, then how is it that you're going to use something that happened, like, personally, to kind of say whether or not they should get the award? I don't think it. I honestly don't see it that way, because a lot of people have been involved in a lot of scandals. A lot of people have done things, that are like, wait, what? And they still have received awards. They have still been nominated. So I don't think, because people talk about it now, that they should go ahead and give into that pressure and then retract his award. Leave him with his award and move forward. That's how I feel about that. And moving forward, I don't know. I would love to hear what it is that Jada is going to say on Red Table Talk, because I'm pretty sure she is going to say something. Anyways, so I will definitely keep you guys informed. Like, let me know what you guys think. Please like, subscribe, comment on the video, because you're getting all the juice. I'm keeping you hydrated, okay? So anyways, thank you guys for keeping up with me. I'm so appreciative. Anyways, bye-bye.